Of all the people in the world, this place means more to me than anybody else in the world. This is really a holy place for me. I only spent 12 years here, but it was the most enriching time in my ministry. This church for a time was a church that really could take people who were unchurched and bring them into community. Very few churches could do that, and it was a church of really strange people, and they fit and they blossomed, and you could see the gifts of them. I've never had a church that really was like that for a few years, and then there were deaths, and I think we were all just depressed. And anyway, this is an absolutely holy place for me for any number of reasons. I've had thoughts of when I die, I hope the kids will sneak some ashes and put them on the church, this place. So I'm so glad to be here. My wife can't be here because we come up twice a month to see about her mother, who takes 24-hour care, so she can't leave her mother. That's why she's not here. And she's heard all this before anyway. But I want to leave you with a phrase I think that captures so much of maybe our society, maybe all societies. It's a negative phrase, and I want to think about the self-filled life. Now that's what most people are about. filling your life, making it matter, making it significant, having interesting things to do to put on Facebook, a self-filled life. What's interesting is when Paul describes Jesus' life, it says, who being equal with God, he emptied himself and became a servant. You know, we're going in opposite directions. Jesus goes toward the empty life, and people are desperately trying to live the self-filled life. The patron saint of Advent and what God probably wants us to be working out, not just in Advent, but all the time, is John the Baptist. And let me make 2 points about John the Baptist and his life. First of all, he appeared out in the wilderness. And if you reflect on that, that's goofy, you know. If you want to reach people, you do it in metropolitan areas where the people are. Why the heck would somebody spend a place 25 miles from Jerusalem to Jericho? You'd have to cross the river, and you're out there with the pagans and the Gentiles. Why would somebody proclaim the Messiah out there? For a very good reason. I'll tell you why. I take a walk a lot. And I just reflect. I walk several routes, but I take one route, and I noticed the other day when I walk, I have the same thoughts every day. Well, I wonder where they're going to clean that up. That car has to move. I like what they did with that house. That house is too big for the lot. I have the same thoughts every day. It's not a new walk. It's the same walk. Maybe I have a few, and maybe women are different. Their minds are busier than men, and maybe a woman would have a lot of new thoughts. I don't know. I don't. My mind is filled with what my mind is filled with. There's nothing new. That could get in the way. That's why John's way out there. Because in order to hear John preach, you had to quit what you were doing, walk the 20 miles. You crossed the Jordan the wrong way. Now you were doing a reverse promised land. You're leaving the promised land. Hear what John has to say. John is saying, empty yourself. Get rid of all the stuff you carry around, all the stuff you've acquired, all the stuff you believe, and open your hearts and minds and souls to receive a new thing God is doing. It's too new for it to fit into your mind the way it's presently constructed. What you need is an empty heart that would pay attention to what's happening in the world. If you're so filled with yourself, it's the easiest thing in the world to ignore and not understand and not even see God. Carl Jung said, and he wasn't a Christian, Carl Jung was a psychologist. He said, the problem with men is that we're not smart enough to see God. We're not humble enough to see God. It's the empty heart that opens itself to see God. Now, if you were asked a Jew at John's time, when's the best time to be a Jew, they would say at the time of David, when it was maybe the greatest empire in the world in the 10th century. but it simply wasn't the best time to be a Jew. Interestingly enough, the best time to be a Jew was in the 4th century, when there was no Israel, there was no temple, there was no Jerusalem, there was no nation. It had been obliterated by the Babylonians. There was nothing. All the things that Jews believed they were and they were about in the world no longer existed. And the remnant, or 10,000, were taken to Babylon, and they sat there and said, what on earth does it mean to be a Jew? All their answers, all their belief, all their faith was gone. All they had were empty hearts. And there's a psalm, that's the passage of the Psalm 137. How do we sing the songs of Zion in a strange land? It doesn't work here. It was the most dynamic period, maybe in religious history period, because they struggled to say, what does it mean, our faith? And they got together and they studied the ancient text, and they put the Bible together then. They gathered to read the Bible and study the Bible and think, what is God saying to us? What does it mean to be a Jew? And out of that years that they were in Babylon as a no people, Judaism became a religion of the heart, of character and soul, that was an impulse to 3 world religions, Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. Those survivors who had nothing lived in probably, in my opinion, the most profound period of religious history. And you know what the key to it was? An empty heart. So John asks us to go out to the wilderness for all the inconvenience, to start over again. Okay, second point of John, today's gospel lesson. John's in prison. None of us ever expect to be in prison serving God. No, if you're really a Christian, I always thought if I was really a Christian, I'd be a very successful minister. John was really successful, Jesus says, and he was in prison. And in those kinds of disasters in our lives, you ask, what did my life mean? Was I nuts? What's going on? And he says his surviving disciples asked Jesus, are you the Messiah, to look for another? And now Jesus says this, and I think it's a universal for all of us. As with your empty heart, here's what I want you to pay attention to, okay? Because you go back and tell John what you see. The deaf hear, the blind see, the lame walk, the dead are raised. The poor have good news to them, preach to them. Open your eyes and see what's happening. John, it isn't the political cataclysm you projected. Because we aren't humble enough to see God. Pay very close attention, John. And to all of us, pay very close attention. Where you see healing, where you see human restoration, where you see people restoring themselves, where you see people building community, where you see people forgiving, which pay attention, because that is the work that God's doing in the world. And people with self-filled lives have a hard time seeing it. Let me give you a negative example of seeing. Open your eyes to see it. Go to Walmart this Christmas season. Don't go shopping, just go watch it. I was in line at Walmart several years ago, 3 back, patient, and a woman there with 2 little kids was buying her stuff and filled up her basket, put her card in, and the cashier said, you don't have enough on the card. And she's confused, she looks at the card. Now she's going to have to start putting stuff back in front of everybody, this humiliation of not having enough money. There was a young person beside her, maybe not a college student, but not far away. He sees it and he steps up and says, here, put it on my card. He didn't know how much it was. He just did it. When you see things like that, you see what God's doing and what God is about in the world. Pay attention. And if you're so filled with yourself because you're busy trying to make your life matter, trying to make your life interesting, trying to make your life happy, trying to fix something in you, that's blindness, and blindness doesn't see. I'll give you a negative example, and I'll give you a positive example. My friend Byron was a professor of psychology at Auburn. I don't want to throw him under the bus, but because Byron had an awful childhood. He had no childhood. He had no parents. He had no mother, but he was brilliant. And they said Byron studies put the Children and Family Services Department on the map in the United States because he was a very successful researcher. And when he was 50, he divorced his wife and kids and married his graduate student. When he was 65, he retired and found out he had Parkinson's. The graduate student divorced him. I don't need to. So he was alone, facing the demise of Parkinson's with no life. Christianity was hard for Byron, but he tried, and he would come to church. And I walked with Byron the last 50 years of life as he had ended during decline. The last couple of years he was in a nursing home. Very expensive, $8,000, $7,000 a month. And because it was so expensive, he expected. And let me tell you this, if there's an opposite of faith, it's expectations. It's thinking, that's not exactly the word I have, it's entitlement. If there's something that's the antithesis of faith, it's a spirit of entitlement. Well, you pay $8,000, you feel entitled, so, the food was never right, it wasn't what he wanted, this wasn't on time, what to do with this Coca-Cola, he can't find this, something always was wrong, this place. Every time we visited Byron, he was angry. And I would sit and and the staff, they were marvelous. They coaxed him and flirted with him and teased him. And these were people who had to go home and take care of more kids at night, but during the day, so many of them were really, really extraordinary people who really tried to make something happen for their. Byron could never see it. All he could bring that situation with his anger, his fear, his pain, his regret. That's all he could see. Oh, for a moment of emptiness. To see the goodness of those people. To see, in spite of maybe the bad words and the diagnosis that was so serious, to see all the help there is in the world. That's what John's asking you. Empty yourself so you can see. God is love and peace and community and mercy. Know that and align your life with those things, and you'll be on track. Watch for those things in the behavior of other people. That's what John says. A story I love about the power of this. The power of it. Elie Wiesel wrote a book called The Night. Elie Wiesel was the professor of English at Boston University. He was a survivor of the Holocaust, and the book, it's a little book. It's a book everybody should read, I guess. And it's a story of his survival from Auschwitz when he was 15. Toward the end of the book, the Russians are coming to the camp. The Germans have to evacuate. Why they evacuated, I don't know, but they got the people moving. It's winter in Poland. And they're making them run. These were slave laborers. They were exhausted. They had sores, and they were making them run at night. And if you dropped out, you got shot. And they could see people dropping, and they could hear the guns in the background. Elie is with his father, and they are both running. And they are both exhausted. And they are both in pain, and their feet are bloody, and they're running on ice and snow. But they keep running. You know why? It would be so much easier just to collapse and it's over with, the suffering. But the father kept running because he wanted his son to live. He would not accept his falling and be responsible because he knew his son would stay with him and they would both die. The son kept running because he wanted his father to live. I can't tell you a more powerful story about what's in us. That they will not keep running to survive, and they will keep running in spite of the torture because of love. In this frantic pace of life, where people are trying to fill their life. Who really sees? One last story. So this is where the sermon came from, okay? My favorite Christmas. It happened here. The first Christmas after my wife died. We'd have a candlelight service at 8. It was my first Christmas alone. And after Christmas, after the service, we'd go somewhere and have a party, and there'd be drinks and food, and it was such a nice thing to gather with people you care about on Christmas Eve. I look forward to it. This really was my Christmas. And so we had the service, and the party was at the Frank's house. They lived out in Hollywood. And before the service, my daughter Sarah said, "Dad, can Diane and Louise go to church with us?" I said, "Well, sure." And so Diane went to church with us. Diane went out to the party with us. And there it was night. The service was over. It went well. It was my favorite service of the year. I just got there, got a beer in my hand, and was about to enjoy being with people I care about. And my little daughter says, "Dad, we've got to take Diane back. She's got to be at the Catholic Church and start midnight mass in a few minutes. We've got to take her home." And I had to leave the party. Felt so sorry, but you're a preacher. You can't yell at your kid in front of the congregation. And you can't yell at your kid in front of the neighbor's kid, so you got to, because I'm a good person, I was enormously disappointed and brokenhearted. I was already filled with self-pity, speaking. This even added to it. My first Christmas alone, and now I'll really be alone Christmas Eve. Dropped Sarah and Diane after the service, went to my house at the store, turned on the Christmas tree, turned on the TV just to have some noise. It so happened to be Christmas service from First Baptist Church, Dallas, Texas. So here how I'm here with the Baptists on Christmas Eve, if that makes matters worse. Sat in my chair in the other room, the music kind of filtered in through, and I sat with myself. At first, poor old me, where I spend the rest of my life alone. You guys know all that. Just filled with my own thoughts about me and my life and what's happening. And some of the words came to me. Let every heart prepare in you. Let every nature sing. Peace on earth and mercy mild. God and sinner reconciled. Peace on earth, goodwill to men, from heaven's gracious King. I've never heard those words like that in my entire life. Those words fell on an empty heart. Nothing in my world changed, but the world changed. This is God's world. It's been redeemed in Christ. Christ is present among us and is working still. Look at the signs. Pay attention. That's what John the Baptist says to us this Advent to prepare for the Christ child. In Jesus' name, amen.